What up, what up? Welcome to the Crown and Stitch podcast, the official fitted hats podcast that you need in your life. My name is Nick Ingvall, and I'm with my guy Keith to talk about some fitteds. We're going to get into some NBA logos because the season is just getting underway. We figure that'd be a good way to talk about some of our favorites that are out there and maybe some that we'd like to see in the future, et cetera, et cetera. But before we get into all of that, what's good, Keith? How you been, man?
Man, I've been good. I know I say this quite often when I come on, but feels like I haven't been on for a little bit, missed an episode and, on the disabled list right now, or the IL, if you want to be more politically correct. But, yeah, we're doing all right over here.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like we record, but then anytime it's almost like any week that we don't record, it feels like forever in between episodes. So, and then when we're mixing it up and one of us can't make it and we're doing 2-man shows like today, it feels like we still haven't really recorded. So like next time it's going to be like, oh shit, everybody's all back together.
Yeah. Like a nice podcast reunion, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, why don't you start us off by telling us what you're wearing on your head?
In honor of the NBA season starting today, I have on a Mitchell & Ness throwback Golden State Warriors hat. Let me take this off so I can show you the back too, because the back is kind of cool. It has the full Warriors printed across the back, and I don't know. I just think that's a nice touch. I feel like I don't see that very often on a lot of hats, and it has that nice little throwback feel to it.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's a good one. Myself, I'm wearing West Side Love. This is a Carl the Fog inspired joint that came out a couple years ago. So it's like basically just like a dark heather gray and a darker kind of anthracite color. And then this is a new era. I can't remember if no real other logos on it. I guess there's a West Side Love logo on the back. But one of my favorites, definitely a go-to when I'm just kind of like throwing something on. I feel like I've loosened up the reins from the Giants hats since the season's over for us. I gotta mix it up a little bit, get into the archive a little bit more and wear some more unique stuff. So, and we got like I don't want to say it's like cool in Sacramento, but we got like almost like normal weather for the first time in a long time. So, no better way than to celebrate with foggy.
I don't think I've ever seen you with a hoodie on in quite some time. It's kind of weird when you popped up on the screen in a no t-shirt. So
yeah,
definitely grateful for the cooler weather, man. I'm ready for fall.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Sneaker History. Go grab yourself a Sneaker History hoodie. I didn't actually, I don't actually need the hoodie right now. It's just one of those things where once you put a hoodie on, it's just more comfortable to just keep it on for the most part. Like once you've committed to it, as long as it's not crazy hot, but anyway, you want to talk about some pickups too? Like let's talk about pickups before we get into it, and then we'll wrap the episode with some kicks and fits.
All right. To be honest, myself personally, I've been on like a purchasing hiatus for it feels like a month or two now. Just trying to save up money, and I was going a little bit crazy for a while. So what happened was my girlfriend ended up leaving a little stack of hats at my house. So her pickups are becoming my pickups right now. So I might have to wear these for a little bit too. But she picked up like a stack full of Bison's hats.
Oh,
and
nice.
I want to say this is exclusive. I don't exactly remember. She also I have one similar to this. This was the Topper store one with no side patch on it. But yeah, they restocked a bunch of those a while back. So since they were at the house, I might have to wear them too. I think I could fit a couple of these, so maybe they are my new pickups.
Nice, man. Nice. That Bison's, we're gonna need like a full Bison's collection video from you soon, because I know it's been expanding for quite a while.
It has. Like I kind of got stuck on it, and I feel like now the hype is kind of dying down like a little bit. But yeah, between mine and the one she's been picking up, I kind of got her on the wave too a little bit. But it's getting to be quite the extensive collection. Except
for the hype's only died down because you can't pick up that Topper store corduroy joint that they just released.
Man, that one was like one of the most beautiful hats I've ever seen. That like wine colored corduroy. I'm gonna have to find a way to get that because I need that one in my life pretty bad.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. So my pickup actually comes courtesy of Joe, our good friend Joe, in the Discord. If you are not in the Discord, it'll be the first link in the description wherever you're listening or watching this show. Man, Joe has been one of my biggest supporters in this whole podcast thing and just always encouraging. And he sent me a hat that, I mean, I don't think he could possibly understand how special it is to me because, I picked up that Sacramento Solons hat that Dexter put me onto from, what's that place in Chicago? Drawing a blank on
Berdine's?
Berdine's, yeah. So Sacramento Solons was like personal to me because I'm from Sacramento. My grandparents both just passed away within the last few months, and my grandfather used to talk about going to Solons games when he was a young man. So that was just a crazy pickup for me to get. Pretty emotional. I'll have to do a video on that on itself at some point, but going through like my grandparents and with having them pass away and then just being there and going through stuff and, dealing with the loss and dealing with like processing just, what do you keep and what do you get rid of? So anyway, Joe, this showed up like maybe a week or two ago, and this is a Sacramento Solons, really dope side patch here, green undervisor, the MLB minor league on the back, but it's Solons Inc. It's one of the old logos or the old brandings, I guess. But this is actually inspired by an old Scrabble set. Now that seems like no big deal. You see it and it's like, oh, that's a cool story. They called it like Word Game or something. But as soon as I opened that up, I had to message Joe because this is a Scrabble set from 1954 that I used to play. I mean, it's full intact. I mean, it's a little beat up and taped up, but like this is like my whole set here. You can see. So I used to play Scrabble with my grandparents every summer when I would come back to visit my dad from being with my other parents. And Joe couldn't have possibly known that, but with all the things that were going on, like I didn't really want to take a ton of things from my grandparents because there's a lot of family members and we got a big family and I wanted everybody to like be able to take the things that they want for their memories. So I only took two things really. I took essentially a Willie McCovey baseball that was a part of us getting a family brick down in McCovey Cove at the park, and this Scrabble game. And then less than 2 weeks later, this hat shows up from Joe. I mean, I like get emotional thinking about it because like it's fucking crazy how coincidental that is. Joe would have had no idea like that I have such a connection to Scrabble with my grandparents, the Solons hat being my grandfather, like that connection. It was just like I just could not believe it. And I literally like wrote him up an email because I was like, I can't even fit this into a text message, man. I gotta just write this out for you because it's crazy. But this is just, I mean, this hat is just absolutely beautiful. This color is so good. The gold on there.
Is that patch, like a purple color?
It's like a burgundy. Yeah, like
burgundy. Okay.
Yeah. But and then like little like bluish gold, and you can kind of see like this is basically the same shape as the logo on the box, same color tones. Just an amazing story, but like I feel like that's like absolutely a perfect story for me. I don't know who else would actually be so like connected to the story of that hat. And I almost feel like I forget who made this hat. I think it was I don't even want to guess because I don't remember for sure, but I saw it and I missed it. And then this one showed up and I was just like, whoa, this is wild, man. But shout out to Joe for hooking me up. I'm so appreciative, man. It's so crazy. But yeah, man, it's crazy that like those kind of things can just like tie your life together in, just a few ways that you would just never expect.
That's about like the craziest like collision of different coincidences that I've heard in a while. That's like 3 or 4 different aspects of like different parts of your life. Right? And then they all ended up like, especially within the time span that you were talking about, just all happened all at once like that. It's like the hat was like made for you, dude.
Yeah, man. I just can't even wrap my head around it. Cause it's like, this is literally like within, I mean, it's been a few months since my grandparents passed, but dealing with their home and all of their things and kind of getting rid of stuff and passing things along and all that has taken a long time. But like, this is literally like one of the only things that I really wanted, because I mean, I played Scrabble with them hours every day, every summer, because, I would come to visit my dad, but my dad would be working and I would just hang out with them. We'd play Scrabble a few games before lunch, a few games after lunch. Like, it was just a thing. And it was on this old, 1950s Scrabble board game or, game. And I mean, what are the odds of somebody even making a hat inspired by that? It's like,
yeah, that's so pretty wild. Obscure right there.
Yeah. But anyway, super thankful, Joe. Yeah, I'm still just like kind of speechless with it, but it's such a beautiful hat, and I'm stoked to have it. Like, I feel like I got to get like a like display case or something for it. So
yeah, right.
But
is all that Scrabble how you ended up having that A1 vocabulary game?
I mean, it definitely helps, man. Like when I would say probably from about 8 years old until I was about 15, like every summer I was playing Scrabble with my grandparents. We played some card games and some other things, but primarily it was Scrabble. And my grandfather was a grade school teacher. So, he wasn't the best, as far as, English wordsmithing things, but my grandma was really, really, they both read a lot. And, being around them all the time, I got into reading, I got into playing so much that I definitely learned words from that game that I would have never known otherwise. So definitely helped land me a career with a bunch of writing gigs for sure. So today, as we're recording this, is I think technically the first day of the NBA season, right?
It is.
It's like
you are correct.
It's like the early 2-game day, and then everybody else plays tomorrow. So by the time you watch this, everybody will be playing. But we wanted to go through and talk about NBA logos, kind of like Dexter and I did on a recent episode talking about NFL logos. But basically, we just want to go through the existing logos for the year this season and kind of talk about like the goods, the bads. I think we should just rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, kind of like Dexter and I did. And we'll just go through them alphabetically. I think one thing that we talked about a lot over the episodes is this kind of trend in basketball to keep the logos circular. And now that I'm looking at it, it's like, it doesn't seem as bad as it did the last time I looked at these. So I don't know if any of these have really changed too much, or if the way that they're being displayed is just a different version. But we'll put them up in the video as we go so you guys can see them, and we'll start it out. Actually, I wanted to ask, when I started looking through these, what do you think the oldest logo in the NBA is that hasn't changed?
Ooh. I want to say the Sixers. Has the Sixers ever changed? I feel like that's been their logo since the beginning. Either them or maybe the Knicks.
So those are some that I thought too. And then I thought, oh, it's probably the Lakers and maybe the Pistons, right? But it turns out that the Knicks and the Celtics both have the same logo for the most part. There's slight variations throughout the years to clean things up and change things, but they both have the same logo since 1946 and 1947 season, which is bananas. Like, I can't imagine, but I also couldn't imagine either of those logos any differently. They're so good.
Yeah, like if you have something that classic and that good and you change it to something worse, you might have fans revolt. You know what I mean? It's
totally.
You can't mess with something that classic and, I don't know, in my opinion, pretty close to perfect as far as logos go.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just because I've seen them the same for so long that they look good. It's like they could in all actuality be bad. And just the fact that it's so recognizable to those teams that, like, in my head, I just think that they're good,
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like one of those things where the more you see it, the more you get used to it, and the more you're just like, oh yeah, it is good. I feel like that's how a lot of cars work, right? Like, you look at a car when it first comes out and you're like, that is terrible. And then like 5 years later, you're like, oh, 0% financing? Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I could definitely get down with that.
All right, man. So let's start out with the Hawks. Atlanta. We got kind of just the basic circle with the hawk in the center. Atlanta Hawks basketball says this one's been around since 68 and 69. By the way, we're looking at sportslogos.net. We'll link to this in the description so you guys can check them out too. What do you think? 1 to 10. What are you giving the Hawks logo?
You know what? I'm a sucker for the classic style logos and stuff like that. And this one, it looks good to me, but I have to say it's pretty average. I'm going to go with about a 6. Like, I feel like the hawk is not that prominent on it. I mean, I see the head and everything, but yeah, pretty run of the mill for me. I'm going to say about a 6.
Okay.
What you got?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 5. Oh,
I think too, like not having a lot of color in there. It's just literally 2 colors, and that.
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't really make it pop.
And I like that like late 90s Hawks logo too. That I just think of like the jerseys, Actually, now that I'm looking at this list, I misspoke. Those Celtics and the Knicks that's just the establishment of the team in 46-47. That's not the logo itself. Okay, that makes total sense because there's certain logos on here that are way too modern to be saying that they're from the 60s. So my mistake. We'll have to make sure that we get that info correct. But all right, let's move on.
Check yourself pretty quick though.
yeah. Hopefully by the time that 3-minute segment had run, nobody had run out to Twitter and bombed on us on Twitter. All right, the Boston Celtics. So this is about as classic as you get. Like we were saying, you got the little Irishman. Got the corncob pipe, the basketball. I mean,
I got to give this one a 9, man. It's good.
Yeah, I got it too. Like, I don't like green and I don't like the Celtics, but man, this is such a good logo. So I'm gonna go 9 as well.
Even down to like the details of like the 3-leaf clovers on the vest and stuff. It's a good looking logo.
Yep. Next up, we got the Brooklyn Nets, established in 2012-2013. Random fact, I actually lived in Brooklyn about quarter of a mile from Barclays when the stadium opened for the first season. So I actually have, I'll dig it out at some point. I have a Brooklyn Nets snapback that was like inaugural season special edition that came out there at the stadium when it opened. So what do you think of this one?
This one is absolute trash. I'm gonna give it a 2.
All right. I think this one's kind of cool. It's just super simple. I don't like the like Brooklyn like spelled out underneath. I like the Nets with the B logo, but it's kind of hard too because I love the old New Jersey Nets logos. So yeah, I'd say it's probably like a 6 for me.
At least we're a little bit different on that one.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Charlotte Hornets. This logo has been around since 2014. It is not the best Hornets logo that was ever created because that would be the cartoon-like Hornet from Larry Johnson era.
Yeah, you know what? That's just what I was going to say, too, is from like growing up seeing the other Hornet logo as a kid and how good that was compared to this. It makes me think of this a little bit lower, but this one's about a 3, not much better than that Nets logo to me.
Yeah, I'll give this one a 5. It's about average, middle of the road. If I didn't see the original Nets logo or Hornets logo, I'd probably like it a little bit more, but Next up, Chicago Bulls. I mean, it's pretty much the same logo for the whole history of the Bulls, I think, but it's hard to deny the classicness of it just because of how much we watched MJ in it. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
That's about what I was gonna say too. Yeah, probably about an 8. It's so hard to detach like my bias from growing up watching Jordan, stuff like that, and watching a whole bunch of Bulls finals as a kid. So it's still a good logo regardless too. And I can't unsee the thing. You know how people used to say if you flip over that Bulls logo, it looks like an alien something like riding something like that. But
oh man. All right. Cleveland Cavaliers up next. So now we got the Cavs got a new logo for this season that took out the sword that was in the Cavaliers logo last year and in the previous iteration. So kind of just have a crest with a C on it, and then it says Cleveland Cavaliers on it. I'm going to go ahead and say this is whack. This is like a 2. This is the worst Cavaliers logo the team has ever had. And the Cavaliers logos prior have been amazing. Like I definitely got a handful of throwbacks from the, 80s and 90s orange joints that were around, but I can't fuck with this one.
Yeah, same for me. And for those same exact reasons. Like I understand what they were doing with the whole crest thing and all that, but it's too many letters fit into that small little area, and it's just too basic. A 3 maybe.
Yep. All right. Next up, we got the Dallas Mavericks. Kind of the same logo that it's been for the last, 15, 20 years. It's nothing special to me. It's not bad. It's not good. So I'm going to say it's a 4.
Yeah, I'll go 5. It's just a little busy. You know what I mean? The colors aren't bad. I like the font, but it doesn't blow me away at all.
All right. Next up, we got the Denver Nuggets. This year's logo is I think it's relatively recent, last couple of years. It's basically that like kind of coin looking logo that says Denver Nuggets with the 2 axe picks and the mountain and the basketball in the middle. Pretty classic. I'm kind of biased towards being a semi Nuggets fan, living in Colorado for so many years. So I don't know. What's this one for you?
This one's actually pretty nice to me. I'm gonna go with a 7. It's okay. Still has a classic feel for being so new, but it's pretty nice.
All right. I'm gonna give it a 6. Just kind of, I think I like the old logos better. That seems to be a common theme for me. Maybe I should take a look at my myself for this episode. But next up, we got the Detroit Pistons, kind of iconic Pistons. I think this is like I don't want to say it's like I think it's like it's an old logo that they went back to, right? So now it's we're just the red basketball, Detroit Pistons in the middle with a blue circle around it. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like those like Grant Hill era Pistons logos as Detroit fans, but I don't know. This one is just sort of boring to me. I don't know if it's good enough to qualify as iconic and get a pass. So I'm going to say this is like a 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5, and that's only for like the nostalgic feel of those 80s bad boys teams. Like that's the only reason I give it a slight bump up from being lower.
Next up, we got the Warriors. I mean, I'm a sucker for beaches and bridges, so this one's got to be up there for me. I'm gonna go 8.
I'm gonna go 10, hands down. Biased opinion. We're going 10.
I mean, it would be kind of messed up if you didn't say that wearing a Warriors hat. So
yeah, exactly.
Now we got the kind of a newer Rockets logo up next, Houston Rockets. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of over these like boring logos, but
yeah, the problem for me too is like you were saying with a lot of these, like the Steve Francis era Rockets logos were like so much better to me, but like trying to look at this logo on its own, it's not terrible. I'm gonna give it about a 6.
Okay, yeah, I probably give it a 4. I think it's just like, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I'm biased because even like the old school like Olajuwon Rockets logo was better in my opinion, but it's pretty much the same. Just the ball with the kind of in a circle shape with the But so up next we got Indiana Pacers. Pacers is relatively recent, but it's kind of the same classic Pacers logo, just in a different form. So it looks like a coin. It's got Indiana Pacers around the outside, and then the P with the ball through it. I think the Pacers logo is awesome. It's been one of my favorites since way back in the day. I'm not a fan of that color combination, but the logo itself, I'm going to give a 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 6. I mean, pretty similarly to you. It is a nice, like, I don't know, a very symmetrical looking logo. So I don't know, something about it just looks classic to me and looks good.
All right. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Clippers. This one's been around for a couple few years. I think they made some slight tweaks, but basically, when Paul George and Kawhi came to town, they wanted to kind of re up the logo. I'm not mad at it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's kind of somewhere in between. So I'm just gonna say it's a 5.
I don't know if I've said this on our previous episode about really not liking this logo, but this is probably, to be honest, like one of the worst out of all the ones that the teams currently have. This is like a 2 for me.
Wow. All right. All right. This team deserves a 2 from me, but the logo itself is about as classic as it gets. So, Los Angeles Lakers, everybody knows what it looks like. The Showtime Lakers. I mean, I gotta give it like an 8.
Yeah, that's where I was going. I was going to say 8. It's tough to say, but it really is a good logo.
Yeah, it's just classic. I was thinking about this as we're going through these. You could tell how great a logo is by all the streetwear and skate brands and knockoffs that exist of it, right? Where it's like some other company used that with their name and branding. But all right, next up we got the Memphis Grizzly. I mean, I want to like this more because I like Ja Morant a lot, but man, that Mike Bibby era, my Memphis Grizzlies is so good. It's so hard to not think about that. What do you think of this one?
I will say that there will be no skate companies or streetwear companies that will ever be borrowing this logo. 3. It's not good.
Yeah, I would give it about the same.
They could do so much with this. You know what I mean? Like that. Grizzlies. That's a cool team, and you could be so creative with the logo like they had back in the '90s and stuff. And
yeah,
this is just so boring and basic.
Yep, I agree, man. I agree. All right, next up we got the Miami Heat. This one hasn't changed for a while either. It's basically been the same, roughly the same since beginning of the team. To be honest, they switched the colors around, I think, but I actually think this one's pretty good. I'm gonna go 7.
You know, as a kid growing up, this was like always one of my favorite logos. I don't know what about it caught my eye, but this is probably one of my favorites. I'm gonna give it. Let's go 8.
Nice. Okay. Milwaukee Bucks. You
know what? It's not terrible. I like it. I feel like there's been other Bucks logos that have been better, but I'm gonna go about a 6. It's decent.
Yeah, I'll probably give it a little bit more. I think, yeah, I'm going to go 7. I think maybe I also like it more just because Giannis and them winning the title. It's kind of cool. But I do miss I'm a sucker for purple anyway, before the Kings had purple. So that to me is like the era for them that stands out. But yeah,
like those throwbacks where they have the deer across the whole top front of the jersey. I mean, I don't know how you can incorporate that like into a logo, but those were some of my favorite uniforms.
Yeah, totally. All right, this one is definitely one that I am super disappointed with. I think it changed about 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember for sure, but the Minnesota Timberwolves. I unfortunately remember the original T-Wolves logo, like Kevin Garnett's rookie year, then Kevin Garnett and Stephon Marbury with the kind of modified logo in 96, 97. So this one just looks terrible to me. It's just a circle with a basketball and the wolf in front of it. It just, 2 at best.
Yeah, something about this logo, it looks a little tacky to me. And then, like you said, it's like those Kevin Garnett years. It was so good. 4.
All right. Next up, we got the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on this one, to be honest. It's kind of like okay, but not great. So I'm gonna just give it a 5.
This is another one of my least favorite ones. I'm Let me give this a 2. I like the little like New Orleans vibes that has like above the writing of it where it says New Orleans right at the top, the little like cross and everything. But other than that, it's really bad to me.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Next up, one of the more iconic logos in all of sports, the New York Knicks. This has changed a little bit through the years, but primarily stayed about the same. What do you think?
I'm gonna give this a 7, and a lot of that's based on how classic it is and stuff like that. It doesn't blow me away, but it's still a nice looking logo. I like the color scheme, so about a 7.
Okay, I'm gonna give it like a 9. I think that this is one of the more just like don't mess with it logos that the league has, so it's up there for me. I also am a sucker for orange and blue, and the next team also one of my I don't want to say is one of my favorite logos, but it's definitely up there. The Oklahoma City Thunder.
This one for me, like when I think about it, it's probably really hard to make a logo based off their team name, but it's decent to me. I'm gonna give it about a 5.
I think this one's probably like a 6 for me. Again, like you make the point. I can't like when you think of thunder, you don't think of something visual, right? So that's the hard part about that logo. But I think if you take away the thunder off the top of it and you just have like that like triangular kind of crest or shield with the OKC going through it, to me that looks really dope. But I mean, I know they got to keep the team name in there too, but just simple. All right. Next up, we got the Orlando Magic. We only got 5 or 6 more to go here, and then we'll do a little recap, see which ones your favorites were.
The Magic, it's kind of meh. Give it a 4.
Oh man, we're on the opposite ends with this one. I mean, I like the Penny Hardaway Shaq Magic logo quite a bit, but I still think this one's does pretty well. I wish that it had the star for the A though. That's the one thing. So I'm gonna give it a 6. What do we got next here? All right, Philadelphia 76ers.
This is another classic one, and it looks really good, especially like I know we were talking about like having the logo just be round or like having a basketball included, which I mean makes sense. It is the NBA, but it just looks really good to me. I'm gonna go 9.
Wow. Okay. I can't help but think of like the old Iverson logos, so I'm gonna go with a 5 on this one. Kind of just lacking to me. Actually, one of the better logos to me is up next, the Phoenix Suns, which I can't remember when they changed it, but when they went to the black back and went away from the like purple, full purple, I think that was like a really good move. I don't know, maybe it's just the Giants fan in me speaking from my heart, but what do you think, Phoenix Suns?
This is okay to me. It's good. That's funny you say that too, because I kind of like the purple in there, and the fact that it's gone probably makes it lose about a point. I'm gonna go 6.
I'd probably go a little higher. I'd probably go a 7 on that one. Next up, we got the Portland Trailblazers. Full disclosure, I did live in Oregon for a number of years when I was a kid, and I spent a lot of time up there, so I'm going to give this one probably like an 8. Only because you just know what it is as soon as you see it. If you're a sports fan, you know that logo.
This is a good one to me. I'm gonna give it about a 7, but I don't know, something about it. It's a nice logo.
Next up, we got the Sacramento Kings. Now, there's a lot of good Kings logos throughout the years for me personally, but it's hard to deny the like crown on top of the basketball and incorporating the name. Like to me, that is like you've got all 3 things, right? You've got the team name, you've got the sport, and you've got the the word mark of the team. So I'm completely biased, but I'm going to give this one a 9.
I'm gonna give this one a 6. I feel like they've had other logos that I've liked more. This one is definitely not bad at all to me, but I hate when teams have a logo that I really, really like, and then they go away from it, and it gets worse instead of better. So, not bad, but not great either.
All
Sorry,
right.
Nick.
That's fair. That's fair. I definitely can relate to going away from good logos. There's so many teams that do. Speaking of, I think the Spurs new logo is terrible. I'm going to give it a 2. The previous logos that they used with the different colors in the background were the ones that you really want. I mean, yeah. What do you think?
You said 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 4. It's not great to me either, but like it does get a couple points for actually using the spur as the U. That's kind of cool to me. But other than that, it's pretty bad, like you said.
I mean, I love the using the spur as the U, but like the color, the background, it just kind of made it really plain to me with the current like black and white and silver. The letters are too far apart too. Like there's just so many things about it that I just don't like. But anyway,
That's a good point.
next up we got probably one of the worst moves in the history of NBA logo changes. The new Toronto Raptors logo, new being like within the last few years, where it's just the 3 kind of claw marks out of the basketball with Toronto Raptors around it. I have to give this like a 0.5 because you had one of the best logos, in my opinion, ever, right? Like the first initial Raptors logo, even though they changed the colors a few times, was like, it was great. A Raptor playing basketball? What? Like, it was great. Even had like the
so
claws
perfect.
coming through the shoes. I remember that as a kid, but disappointed in this.
Yeah, this one is. I'll give it a 1.5, but still, like you said, it's one of the worst. Especially like you said, it's coming from like literally probably like a top 5 logo out of any sport for me, and they threw it in the trash for this.
Yep. Yeah, so bad. All right, another another kind of bland logo and boring move made with this one. The Utah Jazz introduced a logo this year that is literally the same like basketball as a music note with the kind of Utah Jazz below it, but it's just black and white. Like, I mean, the color scheme that the Jazz had prior with the purple and green and all that was not the best, but just a black logo.
So they just did that this year with the black?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be. I think it's just started this preseason.
That's really terrible. I'm gonna give this a 1. With the color, it would have made it a little bit better. They need to bring back like the mountains that they had back like the Stockton Malone era, because
yeah, those are pretty good. Yeah, I would give this one like probably a 1 as well. It's just so plain. Like there's nothing interesting about it at all. I mean, I get that it's a musical note with a basketball, but so disappointing.
Not
all
good
right.
at all.
Last one, another disappointment for me. Sorry, we are just driving this show is just headed downhill fast or slow and painful to get through all these logos. But this Washington Wizards logo is a few years old, but basically uses the basketball with the circle logo around it, red, white, and blue for Washington. I can't stand it because anytime I think of the Wizards, I think of like the actual wizard logo with the like actual character on it. And maybe it's just me, but I tend to just like the having of an actual character or animal or person within the logo. I feel like, oh, they put some effort in there. So I'm going to give this one a 2.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll give it a 3, but it's not really all that great. And the way they have all the different colors blocked on there, like there's blue at the bottom, but not at the top. It doesn't look symmetrical to me.
Yeah, it's just off. It's something, I don't know, man. I'm not into it. All right. So quick little recap. I'm not going to go through all these logos again, but I'm going to tell you my 3 favorite NBA logos, as biased as they may be. The Warriors with the bridge, the Sacramento Kings, and the New York Knicks. maybe not, might not be in that order depending on the day, but those are my 3 favorites. How about you, man?
Warriors for sure. I really hate to say this, but Lakers, and then Heat and Bulls are probably the next couple that are, if I can't round out my top 3, I'll go top 4.
All right. That's fair. Well, let us know what you think in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. If you're listening, leave us a review. Tell us what your favorite team logos are. Give us some ideas if you want to hear a different version of the show, if you want to hear us talk about different logos, whatever that may be. We'd love to hear from you. The best place to do that is probably in the reviews or on the comments on YouTube. But we're going to wrap with our kicks and fits this week. So what you got for us, Keith?
Being an NBA inspired episode, I pulled out what this is my only non-Warriors NBA hat, and it's what the Raptors should have as their logo currently. And then these Barkley Posit Max. I don't know, something about the pebbling on there kind of just reminds me of a Raptor. Has the teeth on the side, and these are the Area 72 Barkley Posit Max from one of the All-Star days, but I don't know why I feel like they go well together.
That's a dope shoe. I actually like that style. I mean, and the area, what is it? The Area
72?
Area 72, like all of that, like Galaxy type stuff that they did those few years for the NBA All-Star game was so good.
I will tell you though that these are probably like the least comfortable pair of shoes that I own. They're terrible. They're terrible on your feet.
Yeah, anything foam posits is like you're just wearing it because it's a tank. You're not wearing it for comfort. Like you can wear it through any kind of hurricane, earthquake, fire, storm. No, don't wear your shoes through a fire. Don't try to we're not liable. Talk to your lawyer before you do whatever that legal jargon is I'm supposed to say right there. But so for my kicks, I got this is the Reebok question. This is the Isaiah Thomas PE. The Isaiah when he was playing for the Kings, it was like basically all purple, white, and got a really kind of gray suede toe on it. Shout out to my friend Griffin. So he hooked me up with these. Well, I bought them from them, but he had a pair. So these are called the Mr. Irrelevance. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but that was his nickname, or is Isaiah Thomas's nickname. And then of course, I just got to go kind of classic Kings hat. I haven't worn this one yet, but basketball season is here. I got these backwards, so I can't even put them up here right, but you get the point. Reebok question, Sacramento Kings. Got to have my purple for the season to get started. And actually the team was looking pretty good, so I'm kind of looking forward to this year, but usually I say that and then about 4 weeks later I'm depressed again. So leave us a review. It'll help keep my happiness levels up when it comes to the season. Let us know what your favorite team is. Let us know what you picked up. Let us know what else we should be talking about. And make sure you follow Keith. Keith, let them know how they can find you outside of the show.
You can find me at Keith the Sneak, 2 Ks at the end, pretty much everywhere now.
Cool. You can find me at Nick Ingval on all the platforms. Make sure you follow Smooth as Eggs. That's our homie Dexter. He is the third man in this show. And hopefully he'll be back for the next one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Later.